So probably my biggest fault is I'm not organized, and my old rolling tool cart is a pretty good indicator of that. So a week ago, some of you may have seen the video of me putting together my new toolbox. If you didn't see that, I'll put a link up above for the unboxing and review of the new Harbor Freight 5-drawer cart, which I gotta say I'm pretty happy with, but you can check out the video for more. So I haven't started moving tools into it. I want to be organized. I want to start out organized so it doesn't become an ugly mess like this one. So I'm going to start with my wrenches. And originally I was just thinking, okay, I'll just choose a drawer for all my SAE sized wrenches and another drawer for my metric wrenches. But then I realized it'd be a shame to not take advantage of these nice holders. The Harbor Freight wrenches, which are reasonable quality actually, they're basic end wrenches. They come in rather nice packaging, these plastic holders that the wrenches can snap in, and actually they sell essentially that same plastic holder individually. But the nice thing is they come with their wrenches, which are, the wrenches themselves are pretty reasonably priced, and the holder is a bit of a nice bonus. So I'm going to actually take advantage of this and help organize the tool cart a little bit better. So I figured this is a good Saturday afternoon cold beer tinkering in the garage project. So what I was thinking I'd do, so I've got two sets of these wrenches. I've got my SAE and my metric sizes. I'm thinking I can mount these right here on the lid. That way they'll be easy to reach. I'll still have the upper shelf for other stuff. I think that's going to work nicely. Now the thing, of course, you want to watch out for here is make sure you are going to lose some height here for other things inside this top shelf if you're going to close the lid. So you want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the latch. So I need to make sure I stay far enough from the latching, stay far enough away from the cylinders that hold it up, and I need to kind of plan out if I do anything else that's tall in this shelf, or in this top area of the cart, make sure I leave room for that. And my thought is if I do like deep sockets here, those are probably going to go along the back row, which is going to clear these anyway. So I think that's going to work pretty nicely. So let's take some measurements and drill some holes. That's 8.5 inches. And I think I want to start the first ones about 4 inches down. So my thought is this is going to be a lot easier if I drill from the top. All right, so the first ones are going to be right about there. Now, hey, the shelf is handy for holding the beer. Okay, essentially it's going to be the mirror image of this. Yeah, that's a good way to lay that out. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll drill some holes in the plastic piece first, and I'll use that as a template for drilling into the lid. Now that I've got my center line marked, I think that will work pretty well. We'll just do this by eye and make sure it's fairly straight. Yes, drilling holes in my brand new toolbox already, but can't be afraid to make it better. Milwaukee cordless vac works pretty nicely. I might have to do a video on that one too. It's been a handy little tool. These unibits are very handy for deburring the backside of these holes. Of course, drilling through sheet metal, you always get a little bit of a burr on the back, but you hit it lightly with the unibit, it cleans it up pretty nicely usually. So I was looking through my toolbox, looking for, see if I had any appropriately sized screws for this. And I had some number 8 screws, but no number 8 nuts. I thought about going to the hardware store, and I realized, I think this is a perfect application of zip ties. I think that's going to work just perfectly. And if it doesn't, I can bolt it in later. All right, make sure they're snug enough. I think that works pretty well. Let's do the other side. Well, I think that's going to work out pretty nicely. They're a little crooked. I didn't really take my time with the drilling. But of course, one thing that, I wasn't really thinking about is, since when I was using this as a template, it was the other way around. So if my holes weren't completely symmetrical, they didn't line up quite right. But it works pretty well. They're pretty well centered, and I'm not too worried about how it looks. I'm more worried about how it functions, and I think that's going to function pretty well. The cylinders really are, yeah, it'll even lift it up fairly well, even with the extra weight. Doesn't really take up any extra room. I lose a little height in this top shelf, but that's not really a problem. I do like how the zip ties leave me with a fairly flat top here, so if I do want to use this as a temporary workbench or something, they're not horribly in the way. They stick up a little bit, but I think that's going to work pretty well. So hopefully this cart will not end up being a cluttered mess like my old one. We'll see. I need to figure out how I'm going to deal with my sockets. I've got a couple rails, but they're still kind of sitting in there loose, so I'm going to try to come up with something on that. But I think I'm off to a good start. Hopefully this gives you, some ideas on, how organizing, and hopefully it's useful. If you find my videos useful, I appreciate you subscribing. And I'm trying to do videos once a week, usually more like every other week. But I've still got some stuff to do on my old Datsun. I'm going to do doing some brake work on my International pickup, so I'm probably going to be making some brake lines for that. So I'll shoot a video on that. And who knows what else. So subscribe, stay tuned, grab a cold beer, and enjoy.